Everyone, how you doing today? Michael Zuber with One Rental at a Time. And as promised in our live stream for this morning, I was going to react to a video about somebody calling for a 1% 30-year mortgage rate. Let me catch you up on the process. What I do every Saturday morning is I do a live stream at 8 a.m. Pacific. It generally goes 45 to 60 minutes. In that session this morning, I was asked to review a video from a YouTube channel done by a gentleman that calls himself the Bond King. Gentlemen, I've been watching a little bit more and more here recently. Thank you, everybody, for introducing me to his channel. I believe you look up his channel. His name is Stephen Van, I want to say Metry, M-E-T-R-E. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, goes by the handle, the Bond King. So he put out a video earlier this week breaking down a lot of information. I have a degree in economics, an advanced degree in business, and I've been studying this stuff for 30 years. And I had to watch several pieces of his presentation a couple of times. That is a good thing. He is going over material, important information in ways that's very, I don't know if I would say very easy to understand, but very well thought out. So I was impressed by what Stephen was able to do. Stephen was able to do. So I want to give him a special shout out. Some of the data, it's just not sexy, right? The average person doesn't appreciate the subtleties in it. So first and foremost, what Stephen was able to do and pull together and talk about a lot of liquidity and lots of information was pretty impressive. Instead of breaking down the first 12 or 13 minutes of his video, which I think is awesome, and there's really not much more to say, go ahead and watch that. I want to talk about kind of the ending, where he works up to the great reveal. As he did, he pulls up Wells Fargo. He looks at Wells Fargo and says, hey, what's the 30-year mortgage rate at Wells Fargo? He says it's 2.9. Then he goes and he looks at the 30-year Treasury, and he says the 30-year Treasury as of today is 1.9. And really the whole big lead up to this is the Federal Reserve wants to beat down the long end. I guess essentially pushing the long end from 1.9 down to essentially 0. What Stephen was basically calling for is the spread between the 30-year mortgage and the 30-year bond, and basically saying the spread of 1% is going to be your opportunity to get a deal of a lifetime on 30-year money. So I want to talk about this in a couple of different ways. First and foremost, I think his logic, as he laid it out, was solid. However, I do think he missed one subtlety, and again, I think he knows this, and I think he would admit this, but he was just laying out a thesis. I've been watching bank lending for 30 years, and I think the lowest banks would go is kind of 1.5%. The average loan is held for 8 years, not 30 years. You know, there's a lot of subtleties in this. Frankly, I never thought a 30-year mortgage could have a 1 on it. So to be clear, a 1.9% 30-year mortgage would shock me. But I understand what Stephen laid out, and I could see his thesis like, hey, a lot of cash is building. If we really get kind of extra cash in the system to the tune of $2 trillion as he's calling for, yeah, the Fed's going to want to spur lending. I just don't think 30-year money ever gets to 1.0. I think the natural spread is more like 1.5, 1 3/4, right? It's expensive to be a bank. You have overhead, you have employees, you have rents, you have liabilities, you have all of these things. So I don't think a 1%, like 1.00% 30-year mortgage is possible. I do think for the first time we could see a 1.99% mortgage. So I want to give Stephen credit for kind of opening my eyes to that possibility. Before watching his video, I kind of thought the floor was 2.5%. I now could see how that could go even lower. But in reality, if what Stephen is painting the picture for us, that we have all this excess cash and ultimately the Fed is going to have to spur lending, what does that mean for real estate? Well, first off, if you're a mortgage broker, you better be ramping your teams and get your ass busy, because everybody and their brother is going to want to refinance. I don't care. If you refinanced at 2.75, you are going to refinance at 1.5. Even if you just do rate and term, you are going to save a lot of money. So what would happen is we would refi everywhere. And because consumers are consumers, most of them would do cash out refinances and once again treat their houses like ATMs. Second, real estate prices are going to go up and up and up. Folks, I did a video yesterday about comparing real estate over 40 years, and the biggest thing you should have taken away from it, as rates go lower, prices go up. Rates were 2.8%, I think, in 2020. If rates went to 1.8, guess what? Prices go up. Values go up. We go into a bubble, frankly, right? It gets to be bubble-like if that happens. So, what is my opinion? So again, I think 1%, like 1.00, I don't see that as possible. I think banks have a profit margin that would make that unlikely. I think 1.99, kind of sub 2, that could happen. That could happen. I think rates, generally speaking, given what Stephen outlined, could go lower. Right? I think they're like 2.63 today. So again, I was surprised. First off, let me step back. First, I want to shout out everybody that watched the live stream at 8 a.m. where we went through questions. I want to thank you again for introducing me to Stephen Van Metry, the Bond King. He's a great watch. He's a great follow. I think rates could go lower on the 30-year. I think you'll get a lot more refinancing. I think prices go up because, again, rates lower, payments lower, price higher. It's kind of what we've learned over the last 40 years. But yeah, I got to tell you, I don't see a 1.0 30-year mortgage. I just don't think banks are profitable at that rate. And I think that's enough to keep rates above that. So let me know what you think. Leave comments below. Again, thank you for introducing me to Stephen. Thank you for that video. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care.